Howdy, y'all. This is Stone Hook in Orange, Texas. Tonight, I'm not going to try to nap as much as I'm going to try to talk about a couple of things that I think is important in direct percussion napping. Doc Einstein asked me about support and finger pressing. It's hard. I don't really know what to say a lot about that, except I'm going to try to explain what I think about it. But at this point, it's just a kind of rounded edge rock, one square edge. I hope it's a good rock. But at this point, when a rock's this big and heavy, it don't need much support because it kind of supports itself. One thing though I think is more important probably than support. Yeah, it's a nice, good old raw Texas rock. So this rock right here, it has support built into it just because of the strength of it and the fact that it's raw. Flakes support their cells to be able to flow better on this than they do, say, heat treated. If you heat treated this rock, it would kind of diminish the flake performance. It makes it easier to get those flakes in a way, kind of not the same flakes though, but just once you take away some of the tensile strength of a rock, you take away its flakeability too, as far as how well flakes will travel on it. But what I'm gonna say is support is important, but I think platform angles and strike angles is way more important. They do more. It's more variable, and you can exercise more control through platform angles and a strike angle than you can just by how you hold this thing. There's only so many ways you can hold it, but there's a million ways to strike it and hit it. I think I'm gonna just turn this rock up and barely catch it when I come by like that. I ain't got the rock in trying to drive it in or nothing. I just barely want to catch it bopper as I come by. And it makes that typically makes a perfect platform angle. I didn't really mean for that flake to go down that ridge. I meant for it to kind of feather out right there, but that's all right. Now I got me a whole bunch of platform areas right there. It's almost ready to hit. And they're kind of steep. When a rock's this big, your platforms don't have to be too fancy. All they got to be is close. And it'll work out well because you're getting bigger, thicker flakes, you know. As time goes on, it gets thinner and your flakes get thinner. Everything gets a little more technical and tedious. But in this situation, what I want to do where I nap is I'm going to come on down here where I got most of the mass on this rock and I like to attack that first thing if I got access to it, which I do with this angle that I created. A lot of times in this situation, I won't take a little like an isolation flake, but I know it would help if I just take a little flake right there. That just helps this energy go down that ridge and get started that way like that, and it keeps it from having to peel off such a deep edge. The edge of this flake won't be so thick because I've done removed some of that where the edge of that flake is going to be. At this point, grinding ain't real critical here either. It does kind of get rid of your weak edges and show you where your heaviest platform is, but I'm going to hit this thing pretty far up on there, actually, where grinding hadn't even affected it. But I think brushing down like that is very important. It gets rid of any little lips. It acts like a ridge to want to run energy back this way. But in the rock too, I'm just holding it back here because I just want a big flake. this ain't good contours to actually plan on nothing to happen, because you really can't plan for, it's got a big warp right there. You really can't plan exactly what's going to happen. You can just give it your best setup and see what happens. But I'm gonna turn this rock up a little bit to keep that energy running right down through there. It just takes off a lot of mass. It makes a big bubble of percussion, but I don't know. I like to get a lot of mass off while this rock is heavy. And that's good contour too. Every big flake like that pretty much travels as long as it's smooth and don't ripple. It just makes a good contour for another flake to go. But in that big bubble cushion, that's nothing but concavities out to here, all the way out to here actually. So I turn that rock up again, just barely, that popper just barely catching as it goes by that edge. Well, I gotta catch more than that. But see how that I just peeled off most of that ridge that was there that had that big old concavity right there. And there's still, it's not really as much of a concavity no more, but it's at such a wrong angle, there's no way, there's nothing you can do except take off a little flake, set up your next ridge, your next platform right on this ridge. I'll just barely catch it. That rock turned up once like this, so it just, that bopper just barely catching as it goes by. That just takes a good, I still got a little bit of a lip above percussion right there, which I, but those little lips and bulb percussion are killers. They make those flakes want to go more straight in, or else they're just too weak where they rob your energy. Because anyway, I just tried to draw a picture and it didn't. It was more confusing than anything. So I'll probably gonna cut that out. But anyway, I still a pretty heavy angle right there. See my platform, pretty steep, which is good for big flakes. Now I am going to put my support, I'm going to put my fingers, this is the support that's actually pressing against that flake, you know, and this flake should be able to just take off and come down there, go all the way down there, and same thing here. What I would like this flake to do. And it's not as much about support as it is going down this ridge. It ain't got real good contours or nothing, but this flake will be thick enough that the contours don't matter as much. But I am gonna I'm gonna use that for back edge support, my fingers right there. And roll it up, tater it to where my energy's gonna go straight down that ridge pretty much. Oh, look, I missed. Golly. I missed plumb over here. And I won't hit right there. That's another thing I set up things like I do, because I can't hit where I want to half the darn time. Is if you got better platform angles and places for that flake to go, see, that flake didn't hurt me too bad. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. It didn't really hurt me at all. Except it may stop this flake from going because it got that big roll up and dip right there down that this flake would have to go through. I'm gonna try it again. I kind of missed to the right that time, see? If I'd have hit that thing right there in the middle like I wanted to, I don't know, might have been worse. Well, if you anything like me and you miss can't hit where you're aiming like that right there, it really helps to enhance these edges and make sure your edges and your contours is all really good. More important than actual support. Unless you put your fingers, you can't have your fingers over here like this because that'll stop flakes. You know that. I don't know how that happens either, but it darn sure does. I'm bad about that. I put my finger right in the middle where I want my flake to go, and it stops right there at my finger. But when it gets to this point, see if I try to just get me a bevel there, say to set up a platform going back this side. I don't know how to explain this, but it would, I'm still trying to bevel over into that concavity that was left by that bulb percussion. That's a bad bulb because I plumb missed and hit too high or something. Anyway, flip it over and just barely catching that edge again just as I go by. And then come back and set up a little bevel. That just makes the bevel cleaner here because it gives you a better angle to hit to even take the setup flake. And it just gives you a little bit more convexity coming off that edge right there. See that piece that just broke out when I brushed that with the abrader? See, if I'd have hit that, that piece was already broken there. And it would just be, it would look like it was there, but it's not really there. And that'll mess you up too. That's why I think it's really important to brush down on them platforms like that right there to get rid of any loose lips or anything like that right there. I reckon this here, I'm gonna try to run it down this ridge here. I don't know how far to go because it looks like a roller coaster. But really, I really believe if I put my good back edge support here, turn that rock up, this flake will go all the way, except maybe unless that's some cracks down there. But that's something I do. I love big flakes like that, especially on a fresh rock like this. I could have turned that a little more and probably got a little thicker flake that would have done a little better. Cause that didn't take off much material at all. It just took off the cortex. But at this point, see, I got a lip. Got a big old concavity right there. Brush that back a little bit. Still a concavity there. Cause that concavity, you can't hit it from either side and get any control. I mean, no way you flip that rock. If you've got them little concavity thin edges there, they don't hardly work to set up on anything. And I see a lot of people, I've been watching a lot of videos lately, and see it a lot. People hitting those little thin edges that's curved, got weird angles to them, and they struggle with flakes breaking off. I used to do the same thing. Just always fighting flakes breaking off. And this flake, I'm gonna just drive a big flake across here. And support ain't real critical. I mean, I could probably get real technical and squeeze it to my fingers and make that thing go over here. Just kind of sharp. But I ain't really worried about that. I just want to get some flake scars. I was gonna say across this thing, but I don't really know if that's across it yet. I got this bulb percussion again though, with them little old lips. You gotta understand too, when this camera comes on, nothing works as smooth napping as it does if you just kind of relax. Cause I'm kind of tensed up trying to say what I want to say and all. I don't know, nothing's all that smooth here, but again, I'm gonna just barely catch that bopper as I come by that rock, almost like that right there. Except I'm gonna barely catch it and try to knock off. See how the contours of that are no good for nothing. I can't hit it this way or that way and do anything with it except try to knock it off, get it out of the way. See, that just smoothed it out a bunch. And since I got that kind of a knot right there, I'm gonna go ahead and use that for a platform to just take another short flake right there. Turn this rock way up where this bopper just barely catching as it goes by. You know, it's not hitting up on the rock or anything. It's just kind of like side swiping as it goes by. I would have liked to hit it just a little bit farther to the right and kind of clean that off a little bit smoother. But that'll work. That's gonna be a good platform. But it's got bulb. It's just a bulb of percussion left there. I'm gonna just kind of catch it as I go by right there and just try to knock off that little corner of that. Kind of hard to see that, but see, yeah, right there. I want to knock off that little corner there and this corner right here. This one here I can move over that little low spot probably and do that one. This one here I want to catch right there where them two sides meet right there. And just barely. See, it just don't take much, but they clean that up. See, there's no more big lip there or anything. I'm gonna brush down on it, and that's gonna be my platform right there. I'm gonna try to hit right there. I might hit anywhere from here to over here, but I'm gonna aim for right there. Then this flake ought to peel off, follow them contour a little bit, and then I was off. My trajectory was off a little bit from my line, but that's all right. See, now I got that big old bulb of percussion and them lips all on both sides of it again. So you can brush down a little bit. I mean, that's what most people do, just grind a snot. I say most people, some people just grind a snot out of that both ways and everything just to try to grind that into shape. But you can't grind that off there. That's a big old lip ridge there. So I like to just barely catch that little corner. Like I say, it's kind of like side swiping as you go by. And see, that just pretty much took care of that lip. I'm gonna do it on this side too. Except this side, I'm gonna bump that whole point off there a little bit. Just if I try to drive into that though, the contours of everything will cause this flake to go straight in and break off every time. So I just need to go by and barely side swipe it as I go by and try to get a little flake right there just to build my contours. I hit too low. I wanted to hit a little bit farther up on there, and hitting that low to the surface put it more in line to go across there. See, that little flake traveled all the way over there, but that ain't really what I wanted, but it's okay. But now I still got all this contour there. I still need to knock off there, so I want me a little flake. See, that just smoothed out them whole corners. I still got a little bump right there I could probably knock off there. That wasn't so smooth, but anyway, I'm getting rid of them lips. Those lips is what will kill you. And this right here, there's not really a good spot to hit that. I mean, I could probably hit that and get something, but I'm gonna turn it over this way and take another little short flake. Just by barely catching it. Well, I missed again. I was trying to hit right there and I hit plumb over here. Knock that off. And then if it looks good, which it does look pretty good, that's gonna be my platform right there. I'm gonna turn this rock up like this to keep that energy going right straight through there, and hope we'll try to cut off just that big old mass of stuff right there. Now see, that ain't a very big lip because the platform and all was close to the edge and just didn't make a big lip, but it's still a lip. I'm gonna just try to use it to get me a platform where I can get back on this side a little bit. That other lip's so small it don't take much, but that whole edge is kind of lips. Once they're small little lips like that, you got them kind of out, then that brushing down will take care of. You don't have to, because if you're trying too hard, these little flakes will start breaking off pretty heavy there close by. You don't want that either. I'm gonna use, I got that little low pot right there. I'm gonna use that to take one more flake right here on the end. See, it still got some mass right there. See, I'm gonna just turn it where my bopper's gonna hit straight across, kind of up that little high spot. Well, it went farther than I anticipated. I don't know what that is. I feel that when I rub my finger across it. It almost looks like it had tried to get another flake going there. It might be what that is, but it don't really feels too smooth to be another flake. But now, see, I got them little bulb lips right there again. It don't even have to be perfect how you get them off there or nothing, but they just got to be gone because they're useless and they're detrimental actually to try to hit them or set up off of them. Now I'm going to take a little flake, get rid of, got a kind of a duck bill on the end. Well, I'm too timid. I'm going to take a little short flake here. Try to set me a platform. I got a kind of a square corner sticking up there. I'm going to barely catch it as I go by. Like well, I can't hit the darn thing. Here, I can't drive this flake anywhere because either that low spot is just on a little old ridge thing that don't go nowhere. So all I need to do again is just barely catch that right there. Oops. And get rid of that funky shape right there close to the edge. And it's too steep. I'm just gonna take a short flake. or two. I kind of crumbled that. I wanted that flake to be a little bit farther over there so it set me up a place I could hit right there. If I hit right here, if I move over this way, it's getting too steep, but I know it's hard to see that and understand it probably, but I'm gonna try to hit like right there and just bonk off that little high spot. Almost. You gotta be good and deliberate with that stuff. See, I kind of missed, and I've got myself that thick spot again. I mean, too steep to hit to do anything right there. So I'm gonna just bonk it right there on that little ridge and take off another short flake that'll set me up a platform to get coming back this way. Actually, I got all that mass right down the middle of this thing. I think I'm gonna just take a short flake this way because I got almost a good angle set up already to actually take a flake on this side. For some reason this rock seems thicker, these edges are thicker and stuff than I would be working if I was relaxed and not just doing this. But anyway, hopefully these thicker edges help you see this better maybe. But I got me a good strong platform right there now. Good angle, everything. So I'm just gonna try to drive this flake right down that middle, kind of keep it kind of thin, and it'll spread out. I don't know. It might actually catch that ridge and come on over there and spread out over here and go all the way to the end. Just depends on how good I hit it. I've got my fingers to support. That's where, if I pushed against my platform, these fingers right back here is pushing against it right where I want it to go. I just hit too short and crumbled my platform right off of there. So when that happens, you just gotta get rid of that. That's more, those couple hits, I was more aggressive than I was a while ago, and that's really what you need, aggressive, big hits. Just don't be too timid. I think I'm gonna take a little short flake here. That helps isolate that thing. See that? Isolated that ridge where it don't have that high spot to have this flake to have to peel through the high spot as it gets going. I really need to get over here and get this edge done with it. So right there, if you can see, that's concavities, kind of. Can't hit there. So I'm gonna turn this rock way up, hit right there, and just kind of take a burn flake right down that little ridge just formed by them concavities. That ain't really a burn flake, I guess. But see, it smoothed out them contours and got rid of most of them lips. I still got a little bit, but I'm gonna do that same thing again. Take another flake here, and that'll set me up a platform right there. And I'm gonna just put my fingers right back there on the back side of it. That's a little bit short on the thumb. Again, I'm pushing I can push this thing to my fingers and I'm pushing against it right where I want that flake. This here flake, I can hit like right there. This flake ought to peel off, take off all that in there, and it'll probably spread out a little bit where it hits that ridge. Actually, it's go deeper. It went a little bit bigger than my lines. By the time you get to this point, you start looking and see where most of the mass is that you need to take off of this thing. Both sides have kind of got some contour. This side looks clean as a whistle, though. This side got that little concrete, so I'm thinking to concentrate on removing all this side. But see, I got them big old lips where I just took that flake, the bulb of percussion there. I want to just take a downward flake. That's what I do when I first started out trying to explain this. I was kind of tapping that thing too close. You gotta really relax and get you a flake there, see? Gotta move my platform over. See, I got this ridge going on right there. There's still a little bit of a lip turned up right there that my bopper would possibly contact. So I'm gonna just catch this edge as I go by right there. Take off a little flake. And then smooth it out for a platform, huh? That's a good platform now. It ain't nothing fancy, but it's just below center line where I can hit like right there. Matter of fact, see how this all rolled back? I'm gonna take another little short flake right there. That just kind of helped isolate that platform where I ain't gonna have no energy going back into this mass that was right there. Because anywhere there's mass, that energy is wanting to go to it. So if you can eliminate any energy right there to the side of your flake, any mass that would want to absorb some energy, it'll concentrate that energy down this wherever your platform is. But shoot, if I can hit right there, this flake ought to roll out. And I don't know what it's gonna do. It's gonna jump that ridge and then turn back. And then this side ought to go right straight down this ridge right there. I wouldn't mind for it to stay wider and go all the way down there, but who knows? Man, it's already been 34 minutes. It feels like I just got started. I ain't even got nothing done on rock, but that's all right. I ain't wanting to do nothing except try to explain things and get better at explaining things, and then it's hard to support a rock sometimes, but as long as I can get my fingers right back there where I'm pressing against it, pretty much where I want that flake to go right there. That's all we need. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit, make sure that energy goes over here and don't try to come back this way. Now I got a bulb of percussion again. Now that's all kind of thin edges running down, so I'm gonna just pretty much take some short flakes. till I worked my way to a spot that I think is a good platform, which I just about forgot I was gonna leave this side and work off this side. So I'm gonna see I got that kind of started there. I'm gonna take one more flake to set me up a platform right there. I missed. If I'd have got a little more, that platform would be a little bit lower and a little bit bigger to hit. Right now, I've got just a very small area to hit. I can't hit too high right there, so I gotta really dunk it right on that point. And I'm gonna try to drive it down this corner just to clean up some of that. I don't know, we'll start getting that point thin down a little bit. This is the side I want to remove anyways. That went straight out there just because I couldn't get an angle going down that ridge. But now I got that. That's a bad little ridge stick left there on that. See, so I'm gonna just bonk that off. I think I'm gonna bonk it again because really I would like my next platform to be like right here somewhere where I could drive right down this. It's kind of like a ridge there. So to do that, I get lost where I'm at. I'm gonna take another flake here and then a flake back this way. That'll set me up a ridge. Oh, wait, I'm done. Yeah, that's it. I'm being too shy on them. I should have took a little bit bigger flake and it would have given me a bigger, better platform. See, I got a little bitty platform access again, but I believe I can bonk that ridge off and get me a little better platform. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's almost a nice platform except for the little lip. That flake kind of went that way and left a lip. And if you can't get them because of like all that cortex right there, you just kind of barely knock that back a little bit where it'll let you. Broke off one flake right there. That's not good to break them off right in your platform area, because they mess you up. But I'm gonna try to hit right here underneath that little broken flake and run this. Flake down into there somewhere. I turn back. Back edge support down there, and if it's too sharp, you gotta grind it a little bit so you can have some pressure against it. And it don't really take as much pressure against it as it does just to be able to resist the pressure. That's where you want your support to be. Right there where you want that flake to go to. Then these other fingers, you just kind of thumb squeeze it against that finger a little bit. And these other fingers just kind of holding on a little bit just to keep the rock more steady. This is too sharp right here too, though, to squeeze my thumb against it. Yeah, that didn't go near nothing like I wanted it to, but that's alright. I'm gonna just bonk some flakes downward right there. If they give me a little platform to get this little like, extra mass off right there, I'll go ahead and hit that mass off. But otherwise, I'm really focusing on getting platform set up to this side. And a lot of times too, I'm still keeping the big shape of this rock. If you got a plan ahead of time and you know your point's gonna be here and you got all this extra rock, there's no sense in sitting out here trying to work off this long point when you can just, well, bonk it back out the way because you don't need it. And it helps you to get bigger platforms. Now see, that's kind of a concavity running out to that edge right there. So I'm going to take this old bitty, just kind of catch that edge a little bit as I go by and nibble it back a little bit. That gives it a convexity. And I can turn it over and enhance any spot where I want to platform a little bit. Which is right here, because I just want to knock off, I want to get a flake right there and kind of knock off that high spot. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing there because that's a big old high spot on this side. And then anything that I get off this side, that just gets my edge more over here to work off all this side. This side generally good. Got a little high spot right there, but I don't have no good access to it right now, so I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna just take flakes that'll help me get set up on this side right here. So I'm gonna just kind of catch it as I go by and now they got me a big old beveled edge to work with to remove all this down. Because I can work with that big of a bevel, I can work all the way to the center line of the rock, which will be moving this way more every time I take a flake. The center line is going to move closer to this surface right here, so I could probably work that thing all the way to there. And by the time I work it to there, it'll be real flat too. I got such a thick, goofy edge over here on this side. I'm gonna see if I can actually, I got a concavity, so I'm gonna probably take the little short flakes, get rid of this little ridge right here that's creating a concavity. And then the way I do it is, I try to drive that flake all the way across over there and catch some of that edge from this side, just so I ain't having to use up a bunch of edge over here to get rid of that thickness close to the edge. But this may not work, and if it didn't, what I would do here is just try to take a short flake maybe and another short flake just to get rid of that high spot. And it's going to use up some edge as you do that, but you're going to use that edge up anyway by the time you get that high spot over. I think I'm going to just hit this little low spot first to get me a flake. I could probably drive this flake well on down there, but I really don't want to. I would like it just to peel off right there. Yeah, it still tried to go down that ridge. Well, I really probably should have hit that harder, because it would have went over there and took off that high spot for me. I was thinking I needed to get it from here, but really that was the perfect opportunity. See, I got them little lips there, and the farther you go, the thinner you get, and the thinner these flakes get, the less these bulbs get to be. But there's still little bulbs there that will affect your flake, how it initiates and gets started into the rock. I think right here I'm gonna take a flake right there and try to get rid of that little high spot, because it's in the way of getting the flake out there. So I'm really gonna hit at an angle. It's hard to say, but I'm hitting at a kind of a 45-degree angle out toward in front of me instead of straight down. So it'll go down that ridge a little bit. Yeah. That was a little bit bigger than I wanted, but it don't really matter, because now I got the contours there that I need. But I got a big old bulb of percussion now. So I take a little short flake. And a short flake. And I'm going to enhance these bevels just a little bit. This one here looks pretty good. It still could use another little flake right there, just to kind of smooth that out and make sure that energy is centered right there. This is all on the leg tonight. Tomorrow night I'll try to do freehand support too, because it's a little different freehand support. But now that's gonna be my platform, and that's kind of I don't know, that ought to work. I won't say it's too flat. It ain't got enough convexity to it, but it's got just a little bit. But being more flat like it is, this flake is gonna spread out more too, probably. So if I hit like right there, this flake ought to spread out and I don't know. That's what I'm gonna go for. It's a little bit sharp right there, where my fingers are, where it's pressing against my fingers. Didn't spread out way over here more than I expected, but that's good, because that's a beautiful contour now. Still just got some thick edge, but my neck, I'm gonna hit like right here somewhere now. You see how the edge is kind of whoop-de-doo right there, where that whoop-de-doo is right where I would like to hit. I'm afraid it ain't worth trying to take another flake. I'm gonna wind up getting too much ridge close to the edge there, so I'm just gonna go with it like it is. Try to hit like right there. And this flake ought to hopefully it'll peel off about like that. It's gonna want to keep going though, probably, and take off more over here. See, I can gauge all that because I've made these contours like they need to be for a flake to travel. If you're just working off of a raw edge, you don't have that. You don't have those formed contours where your platform is, and that's the main thing, because it won't support the flake. It just can't, because it's too thin and too weird. You know, if it's got lips or anything. I'm gonna try to put most of my support right there where I want to go. Sometimes it's hard to get your support right where you need it, and then you just gotta go with what you can get. But I hit too short. See, my whole mark is still there. I didn't get near enough bite on that to get a good flake. So I'm just gonna move over here and hit it and try to get rid of the goof ups I just made there. I'm gonna hit right here and try to drive that flake right across there. Still got concrete showing up, but it ain't bad. That looks more like a little fossil or something, I guess. But I would have liked to got that flake to run over here and take off some of that thick edge for me, but it didn't. And I've run out of options now. There ain't no more places to hit. That's just too weird. There ain't no way that flake would go across there. So I'm gonna pick a spot where I can get me a flake, like right here. Just a short flake. Ain't gotta be nothing fancy. Probably right there in that little corner too. I'm gonna use that to kind of just bump a flake off right here. Well, I can't hit the darn thing. That's a little bit bigger than I had in mind, but that's the objective, just to kind of hit a flake back this way and set up a platform place to hit right there. But this is not good. It's kind of concavity and all, but I take a couple little short flakes right there. So I'm gonna just hit kind of straight down. I ain't driving that energy into it at all. Just to get a short flake. See, that transformed that into a convex contour. I need to do it again right here. Just like take a little short flake, then take the bevel flake back this way to enhance that platform, because right now there's just nothing to hit there. So I take a short flake, maybe two short flakes, then flip it over and barely catch its edge as it go by. Oop, that was more than I wanted to. Nothing's going right here, but anyway. I'll hack that. That moves my platform back over this way, and this here I'm not going to turn this rock up, down my leg and drive it in too much. I'm going to just put it up flat and kind of take it straight down hit so it'll terminate like right in there. I can't drive him out there. I mean, I could probably get one to follow down this little ridge a little bit, but it don't matter. I just want to go halfway or a little bit past halfway. See how that just kind of blended in. It broke off on that little ridge. That's no big deal, but I got them big concavities. This side really don't have as much of concavity, so I'll probably just grind down on that and take me another flake like right there. That's all I'm doing now. I want to just build a smooth surface. This has got a little bit of a lip, so I'm gonna take one flake, just move my platform over to right there. Same thing here. This flake does need to roll over there and take off some of that little high spot right there. I don't know if it will, because it got that broken flake right there. It's gonna have to get under a little bit. Oh, I hit too short. And to the right. Yeah, it went under that little broken flake too and went on down that ridge, see, but see, that's just establishing a pretty good contours, best you can, you know. Then you can come back and clean it up some more with them ridges. And now I got a big old concavity and a weird edge. So I'll take the flake and come back and kind of hit back at an angle back toward me. Set me up a little platform there. It don't take much. I'm right down here by the tip now, so I don't really need much at all to hit. But I should have hit up on there. I hit too short again. There. That's not a very good platform. It's too rounded, too high up there. So I'm gonna try to move over just a little bit where I can initiate a flake. And then that weakened up this little thick spot. I took the whole tip off a little bit. But anyway, it's going on an hour almost now. And you don't have to be that critical with all this stuff either. Like right now, I'm gonna go down to 1.25" bopper. But see, I got just a little tiny low spot there. Once I get down to this stage, this thing's got better contours. It's way lighter. I can start picking out places that I don't have to set up so much. I missed. Look at there. I missed a good 1/2 inch to the left. See, I don't have to go through as much setup once I get contours established and somewhat flat. My platform can just be way less. But they still got to meet the criteria. They can't have lips. They gotta be just strong enough to do what you want them to do. I done go and got that tip way too thin. Dang, I missed all 3 times on that right there. I got about a few more seconds before an hour. So. But I'm gonna stop right there. It's going on a whole hour. Hard to believe. But I hope that just helps kind of understand what I'm doing. But I'll be back.